What sort of
Good
work
morning.
has the foundation been doing?
Well, we've been investing in something called a social impact bond in 3 boroughs of London because we wanted to demonstrate to the NHS that it actually saves lives and saves money by finding undetected HIV. And that's people living with HIV in the UK that don't realize they actually have it.
How have attitudes changed towards HIV/AIDS? We were looking, I don't know if you remember, you're not old enough, the gravestones that were falling over in the 1980s as part of that ad campaign. There was absolute terror and fear at that stage. How have attitudes changed in the last 40 years, David?
In the UK, attitudes have got better because of a lot of work the government did in terms of awareness and educating people about HIV. In other parts of the world, the situation is still quite heavily stigmatized, and particularly within marginalized parts of society and marginalized communities where there's a lot of fear, stigma, and discrimination in relation to HIV. Back in the 80s, when we talked about HIV, there was no hope. But now with the medical advances that we've developed with antiretroviral drugs, people live full, happy lives with HIV on just 1 pill a day. And now we have an injectable treatment, which they only take once a month. So we've made fantastic scientific advances. Attitudes are catching up. Certainly this money that the government has announced for opt-out testing is going to reduce a lot of the stigma around HIV testing because it's going to become normal in our health service. And starting at A&Es in certain boroughs is a great place, but we'd like to see that rolled out more into GP surgeries.
And AIDS is, I'm guessing, I'm right in saying, something that you live with potentially rather than die from now, whereas you said in the 80s you got the impression that there was no hope. How do we raise awareness for people who do still feel that there should be some stigma around HIV/AIDS?
I think we need more role models. I think people like Billy Porter, people who stand up and say, I'm living with HIV, I'm living a full, happy, healthy life, and my disease is so well managed that I actually have zero risk of passing it on to someone else. Because when you're on treatment, the news is so positive. 1 pill a day reduces your viral load to a point where you cannot pass the virus on to someone else. So treatment is prevention. And the medications are so well tolerated now. Compliance is easy because it is 1 pill a day. It's a great story. It's a very, very positive news story. And the more people who stand up and just make themselves publicly known that they're living with HIV, that's going to help a lot to reduce stigma.
It would be remiss of me before I let you go to not ask how you as a family have all been coping during the pandemic and whether you're looking forward to Christmas.
We've been doing really well, thank you. Elton is recovering from his hip surgery. He got a big thumbs up from his surgeon last week, and he's throwing himself into his physio. And yeah, we're going to start decorating the house for Christmas soon. We're looking forward to a family Christmas.
That's fantastic. It's good to talk to you. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it, David. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.